Hey everybody, Mr. B here. This is your study guide for tonight to study for tomorrow's test on ratios and rates. We went over questions 1 all the way through 11 in class. So I'm just going to quickly talk about those. You can pause the video to see my setup here, but we are setting these up as proportions every single time. So when we need to solve for these, we're setting them up as a ratio, and then if we need to, we're setting them up as a proportion. So you can check back over your answers here, seeing how I set these up. Again, a 12 to 16 ratio versus a 72 to 96 ratio. Write them as fractions because ratios are fractions. Find out what you're multiplying by and see if they are equivalent, okay? We are setting up proportions even if we're using tables and graphs. This was an original ratio of 7 to 5, so 7 more, 5 more, 7 more, 5 more, 7 more, 5 more. We can use that original ratio of 7 to 5 to figure out what y would be if x was 49. 7 times 7 is how we make 49, so 5 times 7 gives us 35. So again, we talked about these in class, more proportions, figure out what you're multiplying by to figure out the missing value, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time on what we've already talked about in class. I'm just going to show it here so you can pause the video to remind you of how we found these answers. So there's 8 and 9. Here is number 10. Remember, this one was just by reading. We wanted a 12 to 1 ratio with laps to days. 12 laps, 1 day, not 12 days and 1 lap. So we have to pay attention to the labels. Okay, here's another one with a graph. Read the graph to tell you the ratio. 1 hour for 75 miles, and then we can use that to find any other pieces we need. So again, pause the video if you need to see the setup again, but again, we did most of these in class. All right, moving on to the next set. My first 2 classes, we might not have gotten all the way through these. So here is the setup for these other ones. I'm going to take a look at this one. If you can do 160 roses to make 5 arrangements, we're looking for how many roses you could fit, how many roses you could use to create 8 arrangements. Well, take it to a unit rate first. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 160 divided by 5 is 32. If you can get this unit rate of 32 over 1, and it's equal to 160 over 5, now you can use the 32 over 1 ratio to figure out how many roses you're going to need for 8 arrangements. Since 1 times 8 is 8, 32 times 8 will tell you that it's 256 roses needed. 15 is a question that uses a total. Remember, we're not going to use tape diagrams, we're going to use proportions. So at a hot dog stand, there was a ratio of 3 regular hot dogs sold for every 2 footlongs. That gives you a total of 5 hot dogs sold. If you continue this ratio, you'll see it's 6 to 4, 9 to 6, and that increases your totals. So if there are 50 total hot dogs, remember the original 3 to 2 gives you 5 total. Well, if I want a total of 50, that means I've got to sell enough here and enough here to give a total of 50. I noticed that 30 plus 20 is 50, and so I'm scaling this ratio up by multiplying each one by 10. So 3 times 10 is 30, 2 times 10 is 20, and 30 regular hot dogs plus 20 footlongs is a total of 50, which is what I was looking for. So the question says how many footlongs will be served if there's a total of 50. So with a total of 50, that's going to be 20 footlongs. All right, again, a couple of more, 16 and 17. Not going to talk too much. I'm just going to kind of let you look at how I set these up. And you can kind of copy this down tonight as you're working to see how I found these answers. I hate to talk through every single one of them because then I'm just giving it to you. So I want you to kind of look at my work. I want you to set it up in a similar way and see if you can understand where I'm getting this from. Here's a couple more. Again, pause the video. These are conversions. Your conversion chart's going to be available during the test tomorrow. Here it is again. If you need it tonight, you can pause the video right here. Again, I'm going to let you look at these by using your conversion chart. We wanted Ounces to pounds, this came from my conversion chart. This came from my problem. Centimeters to meters, that came from my conversion chart. This came from the story problem. Same thing with both of these. Let you take a look at those tonight. All right, last couple, another graph, setting it up. I'm not going to have you plot the points on the graph. So tonight, don't worry about plotting the points on this graph. Just complete your table as it says, and then solve for this missing piece of information here. You know, it says when x is 50 and y is 1. What's x going to be when y is 8? Again, find the scale factor. Don't worry about 24 or 25. There was plenty of examples like that earlier in the day that we practiced. 23 is a very good one to look at, though. It's a good word problem here. Yvonne paid $18.72 for 8 gallons of gas, and then she passed another gas station advertising gas for $2.29 a gallon. How much money would she have saved if she had waited to purchase it at the other location? Well, you need the price per gallon that she paid. So take how much she paid, divide it by how many gallons she bought, and you'll see that she paid $2.34 a gallon. So she paid $2.34. It was $2.29 at the other station, so it was 5 cents cheaper if she had waited. So again, you can pause this video on each one of these questions to see how you did and to write down some strategies to help you study for tomorrow. Good luck.